And you want to hear the number one for your Sunday dinner needs.
Absolutely.
It's called Keep the Turkey Juicy. Learn to be a master baster.
I should have seen that one.
Oh, groan.
Yeah, let's move on from that.
Hello and welcome back to the I'm going to try again. Take two.
And rewind.
Hello and welcome back to Kill A Delibird, the podcast where we rewatch old Pokemon anime episodes and analyze them. One of us is a Pokemon expert, and one of us likes anime, video games, related stuff, Japanese culture, books, doesn't know that much about Pokemon. So I'm Graham, the one who doesn't know that much about Pokemon, joined by my co-host Kellan, the Pokemaniac, Poke expert, Poke fanatic. How's it going, Kellan?
Take a wild guess.
Lovely.
I'm lovely.
First time listeners, he always just says lovely. The guy likes his love.
Hey, if I were to tell you about how I'm really feeling, how, day-to-day life is going, we'd be here for an hour.
Really?
Just on that.
Like a therapy section with our listeners.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Shout us out in the comments if you want to have a therapy session on air.
If you want to therapize me, when we get a Patreon, that's what we'll do. That'll be a Patreon perk. You can therapize me.
Oh my god, that'd be wild. We do not have a Patreon. We're not a
we're not
a monetized podcast. Just any listeners, any engagement right now.
Yeah,
is more than enough.
And we've been getting more. We've gotten quite a few comments the last couple of weeks, which is fantastic.
Love to see it. Yeah, love the engagement.
Love
We
can see some growth, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, just like a sleazy exec in a suit, we like graphs that go up.
Number go up and make brain happy. That's how it works.
Yeah. Which is really the logic behind Pokemon, period. That is why the games are addicting. I'd like to bring this up. I started playing a Pokemon game recently. I started playing Pokemon Black.
Crazy. I
was just like, we've been talking about Pokemon so much, I was like, I kind of want to play one again. And it's okay. I mean, it's good. I don't know. I like it. And it does do something in your brain where it's like, the numbers going up is like really thrilling. It's super addictive because of that.
Black and White is an interesting one to jump into as someone who hasn't played Pokemon in a long time, because there are no Gen 1 through 4 Pokemon. Like, it's all new Pokemon in the main game.
Oh, yeah. And I'm purposefully not trying to learn these new Pokemon's names because, like, at some point we'll get to episodes and I want to be, like, surprised. So I'm renaming everybody, just like weird and wacky names. So I don't know their names at all.
Yeah, that was my pause when you said you wanted to actually play a Pokemon game since you're doing this podcast. It was like, yeah, but if you play the games, you're gonna know the Pokemon, and it'll be less funny when we get to those Pokemon and you don't know what they are.
Right. So I'm not gonna learn the names. I'm going to I'm gonna play this very casually. I guess, let's say I'm gonna play it like a kid would play it too. I'm just gonna like collect dudes, give them funny names, do weird stuff, and it kind of seems like a fun game for that. Everyone brings up the story of Black and White as being something unique. It is very on the nose Pokemon morality. It's exactly the kinds of stuff that we talk about on the podcast where we're like, why don't people ever bring it up? How weird it is to like have these animal slaves that you make cockfight for you. And that's like what the game is. There's like this terrorist group who's like, this is really fucked up, guys. We should address this.
Yeah, it gets more interesting. How far are you?
Only one gym down. I think I'm on the way to the second one.
It gets a lot more complicated.
Oh yeah.
I think you'll like it. It's at the top of the list in terms of Pokemon stories.
Do you have a Pokemon, like core games, like core gens? Have you done a core gen ranking, personal ranking?
I don't, because my opinions change so much on things all the time that having a ranking is kind of doesn't make sense for me, because I'm always like, if I finish that ranking, I'll look at it and be like, okay, but that one should be up there.
Well,
that one should be there. That one should be there. Yeah.
A living, breathing tier list.
But Gen 5 is at the top. It's near the top.
It's up there.
It's very good. Nice. Gen 5 is very good.
Are they that much different though, right?
Yeah, it's a sequel. Yeah, Black and White 2 is a sequel.
No, I mean Pokemon games, period, from each other.
Oh,
like their iterations, right? Like, even playing this, I'm like, oh yeah, the story's a little different. But this feels utterly like a Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone talks about, like, all Pokemon games are the same. And, like, in essence, sure, that's true. The main formula is the same. But all games in a series are going to be like that.
There's other series. That's not exactly true. Like, different series have different takes on this, and some are like very traditional, and some mix it up every time. So a classic sort of JRPG discussion point for this is Dragon Quest versus Final Fantasy. Dragon Quest games are utterly Dragon Quest games. Everyone is like kind of the same, but with these small improvements and sort of modernizations. Pokemon is a lot like Dragon Quest to me. Final Fantasy, on the other hand, the games are like, sometimes you're like, how is this even a Final Fantasy game? Like, what even is Final Fantasy anymore? Like, sometimes they're just so weirdly different. You've got stuff like Final Fantasy IX, which feels like a Disney movie, almost like a fun sort of cartoon adventure. And then you've got 15, which is like the weird boy band in leather in the desert. like they feel so utterly unrelated.
I think I compare it a little more to, like, look at Mario 3D platformers, stuff like that. Like, your core gameplay is the same, the premise is very similar, but there's little things that make each one different enough to warrant a new entry.
I think what's even more similar, though, because it's not just core mechanics that are the same, it's the structure of the game, right? Like, the whole structure of the game is very similar, and that's why I go Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest even has these storytelling beats that are sort of familiar game to game. Have you ever played a Dragon Quest game, Kellan?
Nope.
That feels like, to me, that feels like a Pokemon player's next game. It's like it's like Pokemon, but yeah, it's like Pokemon. I don't know, but with people.
All right, are we going to get
that's
into
enough banter.
the episodes?
That's enough banter. Yeah. Let's talk about what we're doing today.
Today we are looking at 3 episodes. It's the Sabrina arc. We're doing Abra and the Psychic Showdown, the Tower of Terror, and Haunter versus Kadabra. How did you feel about these episodes?
They were very good, actually. I liked them a lot. I think the ending was a little weird, but
the ending's fucking stupid.
But good, I guess. The ending was a little weird. We'll get to that. But they're perfect Saturday morning cartoons, right? Like, they mix together sort of the fun and adventure and kind of weird sides of Pokemon, but they mix them with almost like a Twilight Zone-esque sort of like mildly scary sort of vibes that I thought was really fun.
So let's jump into the first episode of today, Abra and the Psychic Showdown. So last we left off, our friends here, Ash had just said goodbye to Butterfree. That's where we left off.
Aww.
And are off to Saffron City. They're making their way to Saffron City. But first, before we even see the gang, we see a snippet of this mysterious woman who wants to play a game, a la Saw.
Yeah. Do you want to play do you want to play a game? And it's a creepy entry. It sets the tone for the show. We see this little girl with like glowing eyes. It says, "Time for us to play," and then that's kind of it. So much creepy giggling in this episode.
So the gang's going through this stark and mysterious forest, and hey, surprise, surprise, they've gotten lost again.
And surprise, they're arguing. That's basically the starting point of most episodes.
Yeah, Ash and Misty are yelling back and forth at each other, and Brock is just like, "You guys don't want to stand here and insult each other like this."
And they go,
"Yes, we do.
Yes, we do." I like that.
It's great. They know their relationship. They get it.
Yeah, they're like, this is our bonding, Brock.
This is how we work.
Yeah.
So that strange little girl appears and runs away. Ash goes after her because they want directions. He falls off a cliff, and in a brilliant split-second line of thinking, Ash uses his Pokemon for benefit. He uses his Bulbasaur to save him from falling. Very good thinking, Ash.
Ash can switch between utterly stupid and quite clever, like, on a snap of a finger. Like, he's running after this little girl for directions. That's already weird. Like, you see a little girl in the woods. It's like, maybe help her out. Like, what's going on? Let's figure out this situation. Maybe she knows where the closest 7-Eleven is.
So the little girl led them to Saffron City. At the edge of this cliff, they can oversee Saffron City. This is what we call a city.
Oh, yeah.
It is a big one. And I believe it is the biggest city in Gen 1.
For sure. Right. And Saffron, okay, so I do remember some things. So Saffron is where there's like a giant department store, right?
No, that's Celadon.
Oh my goodness! Wow, I got nothing to say about Saffron. I thought
could you?
I got another question for you. Trying to figure out what Saffron is, because I thought it was like the metropolis. Like, looking over it, it's got like fun Tokyo
Celadon
vibes.
might be the biggest.
Also Celadon might be. Okay,
it might be
in the original Super Smash Brothers game. The Pokemon level in that. What city is that from?
That is Saffron.
Oh, nailed it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're in the Smash Brothers stage, people.
Yeah, Saffron is the city with like all the tall buildings and stuff. It's where the Sylph Company is that you have to go
it's
to.
where the Sylph Company is. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's got this like modern J-pop kind of 80s vibe, like modern in the 80s. it's like what the future 50 years ago looked like. That's what Saffron looks like.
So they enter Saffron City, and they're met by two women in Hawaiian outfits. They celebrate them for being the millionth and first, and millionth and second visitors to Saffron. And they're going to take them to the grand prize room where they get what they won for being those visitors.
Yeah, did you hear something weird about their voices? Weren't their voices kind of familiar?
Yeah, there's something strange.
Like, do they reuse voice actors in this show?
Yeah, I think so. One of them sounds like another voice actor we know in the show.
Yeah.
But just like putting on a woman's voice.
Yeah, a little
something
pitched
very
up.
Strange about it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's all innocent.
I think so, too, because when a hula girl comes up to you on the street saying you've won a prize, you should believe them.
Yeah. It's a very normal circumstance.
Happened to me on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I won a free pack of gum.
Nice. What kind?
Pineapple.
Ew.
It was a hula girl.
What about that gum that apparently tastes like soap?
Yeah, that was the thing that came out. I remember that as a kid. Like,
it's still out.
Oh, yeah, really. I think that's supposed to be like for pranks, right?
I don't know. It says on the package it tastes like soap.
I remember some girl in my class claiming that she liked it and was like eating it. And then
I knew someone in high school that actually enjoyed it. Fucking weird.
Oh, awful. Vile.
The Hawaiian women take the gang into the grand prize room. There's no prize around, so they must be in a different room. They push the gang onto a warp tile to take them to the room that must have the prize. They warp into another room.
Yeah, let's talk about warp tiles for a second.
Ugh, worst mechanic in Gen 1.
Well, this is also... Okay, so
tiles.
This is something in the games. Is it only in the first game?
No, there's some in Gen 3. I know there's some in Gen 6.
So basically, the old Pokemon games are tiled, as in like you move around kind of square to square, and these were certain squares that would zip you magically to another spot. Works pretty naturally in games. In show, they don't explain it at all, right? Like sometimes the state of technology in the Pokemon world is kind of funny. Like, you don't really have a good baseline for what is and what isn't possible with their level of technology. Sometimes it's futuristic, but kind of taken for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And this part, because warp tiles aren't something that's been explained in the show, I don't think they really come up much, right?
Nope.
They just push them on this warp tile, and they're like, hey, it's a warp tile. Okay.
According to Bulbapedia, this is the one and only time warp tiles are
there you go.
In the anime.
There you go.
So.
And it warps them into this room with no doors, no windows. And Ash is like, where the heck's the prize? He still thinks that there's something going on. And Misty's like, only thing we've won is this trap. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey. So yeah, it's a trap apparently. Because the two women in Hawaiian outfits turn out to be Team Rocket. What?
Yeah, a screen appears, right? They're talking to them through a video phone. It's actually Team Rocket all along. We were right about the voice actors.
Unironically, by far their best disguise. Yeah.
Well,
and one of the best ever,
in the sense that they didn't look. Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't look anything like them.
They were just good disguises, I guess, in terms of the disguising part.
Yep.
So they start doing their chant on screen, and this is great because this is how I've been feeling for the last 20 episodes. Is Ash is suddenly the gang has a table and they're having tea, and they're like, this is the most boring show ever. It's gonna be canceled soon.
Yeah, it's a great moment. They're just completely ignoring the motto. But before that, Ash's first reaction to the reveal that it's Team Rocket is he's really grossed out because they kissed him earlier.
Yeah. And Team Rocket has cooties.
Fun. Pikachu's been kidnapped by Team Rocket now. Right before they pushed them into the warp tile, they grabbed Pikachu and trapped him in this room. The little weird girl appears to Team Rocket now. She freezes Team Rocket in place, takes Pikachu back to Ash, and then teleports them out of the room. They're not trapped anymore.
Yeah, when she appears to Team Rocket, she's got this blue aura around her, and she freezes Team Rocket in the air magically. There's a kind of a cool musical tune there, just sort of an ominous little creepy mellow kind of dramatic beat in the background. Very nice. Meowth comments about someone turning down the AC. So this is that connection to the supernatural, really, right? It's when there's a ghost around, you feel cold. There's something here. This little girl is not just a little girl, right? We're getting connected to some kind of other existence. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very supernatural.
Supernatural.
I mean, it makes sense in the Pokemon world because the Pokemon world's already freaking weird. So
yeah, we had a good tone setter in a previous episode, The Ghost of Maiden's Peak, where we've been exposed to this idea of different planes of existence, spiritual and physical realms. So we've had a bit of setup to be weird shit can happen in Pokemon.
So some weird guy shows up out of nowhere. He comes running in from the back. It looks like he's just on a jog.
Yeah.
And he says that the gang should stay away from Sabrina's gym and to go get a different badge, which, implies, again, the existence of many gyms, and you only need to get 8. But then Ash implies, or he says, that he needs the Marsh badge to be eligible for the Pokemon League. So we got a lot of contradiction going on here.
Yeah, I was thinking about this theory of yours coming from the show, that they seem to make that there's actually way more badges than just the typical 8 from the games in the Indigo League.
It's not really even a theory, because later in the season, we'll see Gary with a bunch of badges that we've never seen.
It's a theory with a lot of supporting evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
So, yeah, you can get badges from anywhere as long as you get 8. You would get into the final league sort of challenges. Ash, though, yeah, he says, no, I need this one. So does that just him not knowing the rules? Because he constantly doesn't know the rules. So that could be the case. The other case could be you actually do need some of them, but you don't need others. But that, I don't know how we would confirm that.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
The other thing it could be is just he's bullheaded. If there's a challenge in front of him, he needs to smash through.
And that's probably the most logical
plausible
explanation. Yeah. So they don't listen to the weird guy. They go into the gym. They see in a room there's a bunch of people in white coats that are practicing psychic powers or something.
Let's talk about this gym. It looks like a cavern. It's
wild.
This weird beigey color, and it's got stalactites. I guess more just columns.
It's like a cult thing.
It's like a cult thing. There's torches, on the wall, and there's all these people in white coats, scientists, but they're doing classic sort of psychic activities, trying to guess cards and bend spoons with their minds.
Yeah, they're all trying to bend these spoons with their mind and stuff. And then another doctor dude in the white coat comes along. He tells the gang that you need telekinesis to control psychic Pokemon. That's what all these people
in a Russian accent.
Yeah,
back to the hokey accents.
He bends the spoon with his mind. Takes him a while, but he does it.
He almost has an aneurysm.
Yeah.
And Ash runs in there and he's like, why are you trying that? I'll just do it my way. Bends it with his hands. And Ash is muscle over mind. And Brock and Misty are embarrassed. They're this fucking jackass. Let's learn a little bit more about the situation and proceed. And Ash is I'm just gonna do stuff. Ah!
So they keep moving through the gym. They go into the stadium area, and the little girl appears again. So this must be Sabrina. This is the gym leader. And she almost kills the doctor guy.
Yeah, she force chokes him. I'm very displeased with your performance, Russian guy.
Very messed up.
Dun, dun, dun.
So Sabrina agrees to a match on the condition that if Ash loses, then they have to be her friends.
Yeah, and that sounds so fine.
Sweet.
That sounds benign. And Ash is like, I don't really get how that's a trade-off, so whatever.
And he's just sure he's gonna win anyway.
But she says everything so creepily, you'd think he'd be a little suspicious.
If you lose,
and if they could hear the soundtrack of the episode, then they would know what's up. Creepy soundtrack. Brock also points out that it looks more like a temple than a gym. And that kind of goes with what you're saying. It's got this cult feel, yeah.
So we meet the real Sabrina. It zooms out. The real Sabrina is holding this doll, but there still seems to be some kind of weird connection here. And it's battle time. They're going to do a one-on-one fight. Sabrina sends out Abra. Ash sends out Pikachu.
So I would like to talk a bit about now Sabrina, that she's been more revealed. So she's, I don't know, like a young woman, I guess, with long green hair, very like solemn face, not a lot of reactions, and she's got this weird little girl doll figure whose eyes glow, and she says creepy things sitting on her lap, like a Chucky kind of eerie possessed horror doll. And Sabrina herself seems kind of badass, but she's cold, right? She's sharp, and then she floats down to the match pitch, like she can levitate.
So she's a master of psychic powers.
So a very cool, ominous kind of figure.
Very much so.
Yeah, and now you said she sends out an Abra because they're going to start the battle. Abra versus Pikachu. Explain Abra. What's an Abra?
Abra sucks.
Abra sucks.
Abra is a Pokemon that notoriously is difficult to catch because it by level up, only learns teleport. And so if you don't either put it to sleep immediately or catch it immediately with one ball, it's going to run from battle immediately. And it's just a real pain in the ass to catch. Now, the thing about Abra is, again, only by level up it learns teleport. And so in battle, it's completely useless. It can learn TM moves, but we haven't even I don't think we've been introduced to the concept of TMs in the show. Presumably, this Abra only knows teleport, and so it should be the easiest battle.
And do you want to describe it physically for our audio-only listeners?
Physically? Oh, I don't even know how to describe it. Right? It's like this humanoid fox thing.
Like a little fox demon. You know what it looks like? A paralysis demon. A sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this? So sleep paralysis is a thing kind of linked to night terrors where people will sort of wake up but still be asleep and not be able to move, and they'll see figures and things, and how people describe it looks like this eerie sort of sharp-faced dark demonic figure, and Abra kind of looks like that. He's got a slanted face. He's a yellowish sort of beige hue, kind of like the gym as a whole. Yeah, and he's like an armadillo humanoid thing.
Armadillo, that's a better
armadillo.
I think that's a better
Abra armadillo.
But the thing about Abra is while Abra itself sucks, it evolves into Kadabra, which evolves into Alakazam, and Alakazam is a pretty fantastic Pokemon.
Goated. Yeah.
It's very good. It unless you hit it, in which case it dies because it's very frail physically.
It's what we would call in other RPGs a glass cannon.
A glass cannon. Yeah,
these wizards that can just pump out magic powers, but if they even get touched by a sword, they crumble.
It's speedy and really good with special attacks, so it's gonna kill a lot of things. But if you can get a physical attack off on it, it's gonna go down pretty quick.
So in the battle,
and that's Abra.
We see Abra, the little Abra armadillo figure, sitting in the middle of the pitch, but he's asleep, and the Pokedex says he sleeps 18 hours a day.
Yeah, it's asleep.
So how's it gonna fight if it's asleep? Well, Sabrina's eyes start glowing. It's like you sleep all the time. Yeah, what time did you wake up today?
11.
Oh my god, 11 a.m. Folks, shout him out in the comments. Tell him to get up earlier. Get your shit together, Kellan.
I don't get sunlight in my apartment. It's hard.
Really?
Yeah, I live in a basement suite.
Oh, you could get a light,
I need one of those sun daylight alarm clock things.
Yeah, like a synthetic sunlight thing.
Anyway, that has nothing to do with Pokemon.
Well, we were talking about sleep. So how can the Abra fight if it's asleep? Sabrina's eyes glow. The Abra's eyes glow. Sabrina can control the Abra with its mind even though it's asleep. This goes back to what the Russian dude told us, that you can control psychic Pokemon with telekinesis.
Yeah, there's this psychic link the trainers have with psychic Pokemon to be able to communicate with them without even having to speak, I believe, which, goddamn, that's cool.
Oh, yeah, it's super cool. And it feels like she's making this Abra do stuff that, other Pokemon trainers can't, like a fidelity or quick on the spot thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's teleporting around, he's kicking ass.
Yeah, so she uses teleport to avoid Pikachu's Thunder Shocks, and that's the only thing Abra can do. So what should be happening in this battle? And then it fucking evolves.
Yeah, this was
mid-battle.
kind of bonkers.
Can't do that in the game.
Evolves mid-battle. I thought for a moment, I was like, did she switch them out? Because also, if she's this, like, great, terrifying gym leader, but she's been using an Abra the whole time, like, that's like, this is like a great water trainer only having a Magikarp, and then just, like, evolving mid-battle.
Well, what's interesting is that in Pokemon Yellow, which is the game based on the anime, Sabrina has 3 Pokemon. She has an Abra, Kadabra, and an Alakazam. Her Abra only knows the move Flash, which lowers your accuracy. Like, her Abra cannot do damage.
Oh, interesting.
Whatsoever.
And in Red and Blue, she's got a different lineup?
Yeah, in Red and Blue, she's got Alakazam. Or let me just take a look.
So, reminder to the audience, Red and Blue, I think known as Red and Green in Japan, were the first Pokemon games. Then the anime came out. Then they made kind of a special edition called Yellow. Based on the popularity of the anime, they made some tweaks to bring in some of the anime lore.
Yeah, so they released Red and Green in Japan first. Later, Blue version came out there, which was a slightly improved version with, like, better Pokemon sprites and stuff, and I think a few bug fixes, and that's the version we got in North America.
Right, and then Yellow is the
anime
enhancement.
One. Yeah. So yeah, Sabrina in Red, Green, and Blue has Kadabra, Mr. Mime, Venomoth, and Alakazam.
Oh, so a lot different.
Yeah, a lot of the teams changed in Yellow to more represent what happened in the anime. Like Surge in Yellow only has Raichu.
Oh, okay. Yeah, be more lore appropriate.
Anyway, yeah. So Abra evolves into Kadabra, which does not happen in the games. You can't evolve mid-battle. That's not allowed. But apparently, according to the league rules in the anime, it is allowed, but whatever.
And it was hella cool, because now we've got a Kadabra.
It is pretty cool.
I just don't get how Sabrina would have made it this far as a gym leader with only the Abra, but, like, whatever.
Maybe she just has, like, a ton of Abras.
Maybe she has a gun.
Yeah.
Maybe she just shoots people.
I think she just has, like, a couple thousand Abra.
Oh, that would
every
be
battle
scary.
She uses a new one.
That would be
She just uses a new one every time to evolve.
Oh. Right, this is just like a ploy she does with everyone.
So Pikachu goes for another Thunder Shock to fill up the stadium, but Kadabra, this is fucking cool. Takes the Thunder Shock, turns it into like this electric dragon thing, and sends it right back at Pikachu. Fucking cool.
We've got electric dragons, folks. What more do you need?
So neat.
Throw out all your DVDs, because this is the show for you.
It uses Psychic to make Pikachu dance and then throws him into the ceiling and the floor over and over again.
Yeah, and Ash is like, why are you dancing? And they're like, Kadabra's controlling him, obviously.
No, he's not even like, why are you dancing? He's like, Pikachu is so into this, he's dancing.
Oh, he not even why. He's just like, yeah, Pikachu's a good dancer.
Yeah.
That's my boy. And Ash resigns because Pikachu's getting blasted. So he runs in there.
But according to the deal they made at the start, the gang now has to be the little girl's friends.
Now you're gonna be my friend.
So she teleports them away to this empty city.
Yeah, empty neighborhood.
They go into a house.
Like a white picket fence kind of neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. It's a ghost town.
Yeah, very creepy.
So they go into this house.
They go into a house. Yeah, no one in the house. Brock tries to eat cake. There's cake on the table. It's not real cake. It's plastic or something. Ash wanders into the bathroom and he's like, sorry, ma'am, I didn't know anyone was here. There's like a woman in the bath. It's a doll. They're like,
it's a doll.
We're inside a dollhouse. Ah!
Sabrina shrunk them. That's what she did. She didn't teleport them. She shrunk them. I think this has to be against the league rules, right? Like,
also, one of them, I don't remember which, goes, we must have been shrunken with telekinesis. Telekinesis in the Pokemon world is just magic. They're just like, they can do anything. Like, telekinesis, like, would be moving things with your mind, right? Kinesis to move, telepathically. But you could, like, this is just magic.
I'm here for it.
You're here for it? I mean, I think it's funny. I think it's like this, like, explain away sort of thing where they don't really understand this term telekinesis. It feels like the show doesn't understand it. So it becomes a stand-in for just like whatever they want to do, which is okay. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, though, have you ever, like, say, worked with someone, collaborated with something, or like this happens from bosses a lot, where they'll refer to, they'll learn about some new term, right? Like, let's say they learned about some new technique. Let's call it telekinesis. And then you'll be like, yeah, we could really use telekinesis to do this in our job better. And then they'll start, like, whenever a problem comes up at work, they're like, I know, we'll solve it with telekinesis. Like, oh, I said it could make us more money. And they're like, we need to clean the floors. Telekinesis. You know?
I mean, if you could use telekinesis to clean, I would be doing that all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's like the Harry Potter family that they, like, got their brooms doing work and shit. That would be cool.
So that little girl comes back into the dollhouse thing, the play area, and she rolls the ball towards him. It's an Indiana Jones moment. It's great.
We're gonna have a ball.
Hey.
Boo.
So that random guy, the weird guy from before, comes in at the last second, very Deus Ex Machina, saves them by teleporting them out of the dollhouse.
Yeah, and you know, whenever a weird, mysterious man with a beard is introduced in one of these shows, like, he's gonna come back.
Yeah,
he always has some attachment to the people involved.
Yeah, this isn't the first time this has happened.
Nope.
In this show.
It's always a weird old man saving people. And when they're teleported back out, one of them goes, this is a real place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were in a fake place.
Yeah.
So he insists that Sabrina is completely unbeatable, that they should leave. They need to go away, far away. Don't even try. Ash is insistent, though, that he needs to beat Sabrina, that he can beat Sabrina. And to prove his point, the old man pantses Ash.
Psychically pantses him.
Yeah.
Because Ash is like, well, teach me these psychic powers. And he's like, you gotta be born with it. Pulls down his pants with his mind.
Little weird. Little strange.
Yeah, a little weird. Man, Misty's very, like, a bashful during this all. She's like, oh, goodness, underwear. I can't look.
Well, we know it's clean underwear because the very first episode, his mom packed him tons of clean underwear.
Oh yeah, so, Ash's mom, obsessed with underwear.
Still clean. So he's able to break through the man's telekinesis at some point. And so the man finally sees the determination properly. He's gonna help. He tells Ash he needs to go to Lavender Town to get a ghost Pokemon to beat Sabrina, which is how it's supposed to work in the games, but they fucked the whole thing up.
Yeah, I knew that we've mentioned this in a past episode, but, you know, we do have to go over this again. So do you want to explain the whole weird sort of mistake in the games and how that connects to what they're saying here?
So Psychic type is weak to 3 types these days: Ghost, Bug, and Dark, which Dark doesn't exist as a type as of this moment in the anime. It's a Gen 2 thing. But it's supposed to be weak to Ghost and Bugs. And that's how it's told to you in like the gym in Red and Blue and in the official Nintendo strategy guides and stuff, that Ghost type moves do more damage against Psychic type Pokemon. That's not how it works, is they screwed up the programming somehow and made Psychic immune to Ghost moves, which means that Psychic is really only weak to Bug in Gen 1, which is not how it's supposed to work, straight up. It's supposed to be weak to Ghost, but they messed it up.
So they accidentally got way overpowered.
Yeah, Psychic types in Gen 1 are insane.
Obviously, the intention was for them to be weak to ghosts, and that's shown by, lots of text in the games and then this episode. So that's kind of the lore here, is that they're saying, well, go get a ghost Pokemon, you'll be able to beat them.
And even if they were weak to ghosts, there's really nothing a ghost could do against Sabrina, because the only damaging moves in Gen 1 that are ghost type moves are Nightshade, which does a set amount of damage based on your level, and Lick, which is super fucking weak.
Yeah, they're hard to, there isn't so I remember some stronger ghost moves later. Is that a thing? Like Ghost Shadow Ball or something?
Yeah, Shadow Ball gets introduced in Gen 2. So like Ghost gets some more moves in Gen 2 and onwards, but in Gen 1, Ghost moves are literally just Nightshade and Lick is terrible.
Okay, are we ready to wrap this episode up?
Yep. So we end on the weird guy again, saying that he maybe Ash is the one that can Rescue Sabrina.
Rescue Sabrina.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
what does that mean? And that's the episode.
That's the episode. So the literary analysis, literary comparisons.
The Literary Hour.
Literary Hour with Graham. So, I learned from Bulbapedia that this is likely inspired by a Twilight Zone episode called Stopover in a Quiet Town, which was a moral tale against drinking and driving, where a couple went out, got wasted and then drove. The next day they wake up and they're in a dollhouse kind of town, but they don't realize it at first. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Everything's fake. They can't run the cars. They're toy cars. And then at the end, like a child appears and is basically chasing after them because the child looks like a giant creature. And so they run away. And the moral of the story, the voice that pops up at the end is like, don't drink and drive, folks. So that's likely what the main explicit comparison is here. Another comparison I thought of, the Roald Dahl story, Matilda. Matilda, the young girl with psychic powers. Oh. She's an orphan. She's the hero of that story, though. But she takes a lot of her trauma, and gets really interested in her own powers and reading stories and stuff. We'll learn that Sabrina's gone through something similar where kind of trauma and she's gotten obsessed with her powers. She's like an evil Matilda. Sabrina is evil Matilda. Matilda's is like a good hero she's the hero of her own story, but so it's a quick one. This is a quick one this week. I did realize though I forgot to talk a little bit about how the podcast's doing and maybe some other podcasts.
Oh, so how could you?
I think I'll slip that in right now. There's so many podcasts about the occult, so I didn't really want to talk about that. So I did a very specific study, and I found that we are the 4th best podcast to listen to while you are making Sunday dinner. So this is a podcast to listen to between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. on Sundays when you are cooking for a mid-sized family. We're 4th best. You want to hear the others?
I love how every week the categories that we are finding are getting more and more specific.
More specific. That's the best way to do a study.
I would love to hear what is ahead of us.
So the 3rd best podcast to cook your Sunday dinner to, Roasted, Insults to Cook To.
Hey.
The 2nd one, The Gravy Train, Get Rich Quick Tips for Aspiring Chefs. And you want to hear the number one for your Sunday dinner needs.
Absolutely.
This is sort of more of a dry, learn to cook sort of educational podcast, very how-to. It's called Keep the Turkey Juicy, Learn to be a Master Baster.
I should have seen that one.
Oh, grown. Master basting.
Yeah, let's move on from that. Time for the forepour.
We're going to rank the episode.
Let's rank.
We had some engagement this week. Love to hear it. Someone shouted us out in the comments. Love that. I believe his name is Perry Flores. Shout out. We got a suggestion.
Or her name. We don't know, Graham.
Their name. Sorry.
Their name.
You're right. Cancel me. No, yeah.
Tisk.
The individual's name, Perry Flores, shout us out in the comments with this idea. Originality versus repetitiveness. We decided to have taken that into 2 categories. So we've got an originality category we're putting in the forepour and a repetitive category that we're putting in the forepour.
Mm-hmm.
And so the forepour, that's our plastic ping pong picture of objective rankings. We're going to pull random categories and discuss them. We do 2 an episode. Let's hear the first one, Kellan.
Well, I also have a category I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, nice.
Quickly. I had an idea. I had this idea last week, but I forgot to bring it up. The motto moments from last week made me laugh, and this episode made me laugh as well. I think we should add to the forepour Team Rocket's motto.
Yeah, into it. Let's do it. That's a great one. Yeah,
I'll add that in, and now we'll draw our first category for the day. Gotta get that ASMR ping pong ball rattling.
Oh yeah.
And our first category will be anime sweat drops.
We get this one a lot.
Yeah, we got this one last week as well.
Yeah, there's a few. Inside the dollhouse, Brock does it, especially when they see the giant, the young girl. When Pikachu's dancing, Ash has one. That's a good one. Meowth has one when the little girl appears to them and he comments on someone having turned down the AC. Pikachu does one when Abra's first sent out as well. When Brock comments about how it looks more like a temple than a gym, he has one. There's quite a few. So it's like a good 5. None of them were like especially funny.
Exactly.
So
I was gonna say 6.
6, yeah.
Hey, there you go. All right, so 6 out of 10 for anime sweat drops, and category number 2 will be the perceived smell of the episode.
Okay, so this could be like both the smell of the gym and the smell of the dollhouse. Now, I think the smell of the gym probably has like an incense kind of thing, right? Like something attached with the occult. So it's probably got these, maybe like a gingery and a turmeric sort of smell. Ooh. But it's probably got like burned incest. Incest, oh my god. Burned incest. This is what you tune in for. Burned incense. Right?
Gross.
Like a temple, like a Buddhist temple or something. So we've got the incense. We've got that sort of sultry, kind of murky smell. And then the BO of the scientists. Calling you out, folks. Yeah. Scientists stink. No,
that guy with the mask probably reeks.
Oh, he probably smells, yeah.
That's why he's wearing the mask, so he doesn't.
It's got nothing to do with mask wears. We're in support of masks.
Yeah.
Just saying, he stinks. You know it.
He reeks.
Yeah, buy some deodorant, man. And the dollhouse itself probably has a more of a sterile smell, eh? Maybe a little dusty. You know what? I think there were strong smell themes in this. I'm going to go with an 8.
I was thinking 6, so we could do 7.
Okay.
And then, so 6.5.
6.5.
For Abra and the Psychic Showdown.
Officially rated 6.5.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
All right, let's move on to the second episode of today, episode 23, The Tower of Terror.
What a good name.
Interesting fact. That name caused this episode to be temporarily pulled from rotation after 9/11, just like the Tentacruel episode. But I don't believe it was gone for too long.
But it's a great name, alliteration, the sharp, harsh T sounds, both words, tower, terror, similar, but it really paints a picture right away.
It does.
Oh yeah. So they're going to Lavender Town, which is the nearby town to Saffron, to find a ghost Pokemon. Under the pretense that ghosts can beat psychics.
Yeah, so they're off to the Pokemon Tower, and we see it pretty soon. But the fog is thick, and they need to hold hands to get through it. Brock is looking for Ash's hand. He can't find it. He thinks he finds it. He grabs a hold of Pikachu's tail real hard, and he shocks Brock.
So Brock is dead. Moving on. Yeah, and it's so foggy they can't see anything, and Ash, decides to pull a prank. This is a whole episode about pranks.
Yeah, he turns around. He's like, pretends he's haunted, and he's wearing this skeleton mask, and he turns around and scares the shit out of the other 3.
Yeah, he's like, they got me. I'm a skeleton.
It's a great moment. They are pissed about it.
They're mad. Pikachu's mad. He shocks the
Pikachu's
fuck out
upset.
of him.
Yeah. And Misty says something about not liking his boneheaded jokes. So,
you get it? You get it?
Hey,
he's got a skull. Face, bones,
hilarious.
Heads. Oh my god. Misty, when is your stand-up tour starting? Genius.
So we see the titular Tower of Terror.
Ooh,
another alliteration there.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is pretty fucking scary. It's this demon shape thing with horns.
Oh, yeah. And so the Pokemon Tower is something in the game. However, this is an entirely different story that's done with the tower, and it even looks different, right?
Yeah. So in the game, the Pokemon Tower is a graveyard. In the anime, it seems to just be this abandoned living space. Yeah. Which is kind of an interesting change.
Casper the Friendly Ghost-esque mansion, sort of.
Yeah.
Hijink mansion.
So Brock and Misty are terrified of this tower. Ash, he looks to Pikachu, we're going to get through this together. Pikachu goes to sleep again.
And I love how Pikachu can whip out a sleeping bag instantly.
It's so good.
He's like, sleeping bag mode, engage!
So Ash takes Pikachu's lead, also goes to sleep. They're going to just take care of it in the morning. But I believe they get some sense knocked into them. But Team Rocket is spying on them from inside the tower. Team Rocket's not really going to do much of anything in this episode. They're just going to get beat up a lot. Yeah. James falls through the floor. A Gastly comes out, scares me out. He scratches Jessie in the face. She hits him with a sledgehammer. She falls through the floor. It's a whole thing.
So the Gastly that pops up, and we haven't had a Gastly in a previous episode. That Gastly could talk. This one can't. It's just he just says Gastly. And he's kind of going in and out of vision. Like he's apparating in and out. And it's getting Team Rocket to like beat each other up.
Interestingly enough, this is the first time we've Team Rocket has not done their motto.
Oh.
We didn't get the motto at all this episode.
Right, so we're just introduced to them screaming as they get ghosted. Ghosted by the Gastly. And Ash outside, they hear the screams, right? So that's already kind of ominous, freaky. And Ash is like, those voices sound familiar, but I can't place them. Like, oh my God, Ash. Like, you meet them every episode. They're like your best, worst friends. I don't know, man.
And they think it's a torture chamber or something. I think that was at this moment. In the original Japanese, they say something about thinking the voices are coming from hell. So it's pitch black in the tower. They're inside now. Ash decides to use Charmander to light the place up, which, again, smart move. But Charmander goes to light the candle Brock found and also chars Brock.
Yeah, Brock's dead now, too.
Good moment.
Everybody's dying. Wait, Brock's dead a second time. He was already killed by Pikachu's lightning, and now he's burnt alive. Poor Brock.
It's incredible. It's incredible how no one has died yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, in the next episode, something happens to Team Rocket that I was like, am I watching this? This is fucked up. We'll get to that.
Then we cut to a Haunter and a Gengar. We see them for the first time. They're watching like a slapstick comedy show in the basement of this tower.
Yeah, this is incredible.
I love it.
So the tower now, in Gen 1, there were these 3 ghost Pokemon. It's an evolutionary line. Gastly to Haunter to Gengar. We've described Gastly before. Haunter is kind of like a little more triangular, he's still got a big spooky face, but he's got 2 hands now that sort of can move around and aren't connected to his body. And then Gengar is a fully connected sort of ghost thing. Still a lot of face. All 3 of them are big on like big tongue, big animated, weird, funny faces kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And Haunter and Gengar, are watching like a slapstick comedy show and they're loving it. Okay, they're laughing at like every little thing and they're doing faces and they're acting along. And then all 3 ghosts come together and sort of do like a Ginyu Force-esque pose. Oh man, these guys rule.
It's a great what's the fucking word I'm thinking? I turned into Nolan from last week.
Pulling a Nolan.
You think one thing and then it turns out to be another. Misdirection. Yeah. It's a great misdirection. Jesus Christ.
It only took a full minute.
Oh my God.
I don't know how this is getting edited, but Kellan just had a moment where he took a minute to remember the word misdirect. So, and what does that have to do with the episode?
This is a good misdirection on the show because up to this point, we've only thought of ghost Pokemon as like scary, spooky, evil kind of thing. And then we get this moment of, no, these 3 are just fucking goofballs. It's great. I love it.
They're not just goofballs. I think that they're comedy nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're like Three Stooges fans to the max. And their dream is to be the Three Stooges.
It's so good. I want a spin-off show of these 3 trying to make a career in stand-up.
Oh, I would love that too. Every episode we've thought of different spin-offs that could do, because Pokemon is infinitely spin-offable. That's like one of the powers of the brand. And last week we had the great idea of a Fatal Frame-esque survival horror game in the Pokemon universe, Pokemon Snap Ghost Edition, which I still think is $1 billion idea. This is another $1 billion idea. The Ghost Boys take Manhattan. Them trying to have a comedy career.
So they go into another room. The lights turn on. There's a whole feast on the table. They think that it's like some celebration of their arrival in the tower. But then everything comes to life, starts attacking everyone. They run out of the tower. They escape.
Yeah, everything's floating around. It's like in Beauty and the Beast. When all the silverware comes to life and children floating through the sky, attacking the French mob who's approaching the Beast's castle.
So everyone's terrified of going back in.
Oh, yeah.
Charmander chars Ash now.
They're spooked. Pikachu and Charmander are like, ghosts? Spooked. Are you fucking kidding me? Ghosts? Could have been anything but ghosts.
Pikachu gets like a PTSD flashback of his fight with Sabrina.
Yeah, he's like, this shit's rough.
But then Ash talks him into it about a whole conversation about like overcoming your fears and being strong and courageous. They go back in. Brock and Misty refuse, though.
They're staying outside. Ash rallies the troops with his best Aragorn impression. This is not the day when we fail, Pokemon. There may come a time when the age of Pokemon fall, and freaks and pranks reign supreme, but that day will not be today. And they're like, yeah!
Fornardia!
Good one. So they head back in, and they hear voices from below, and this was where Team Rocket fell, but they're like, it's the ghosts! Get him, boys! Pikachu attacks down there, Charmander attacks down there, Ash throws a Pokeball down the hole, hits Jessie in the face.
Her hair starts on fire.
Yeah. It's a disaster.
It's a whole thing.
Jessie's so angry. They're like, you got fire in your eyes, Jessie. Meowth's like, yeah, and it's in her hair, too.
Hey.
Hey-yo.
Ruins her hair.
So they've accidentally, destroyed Team Rocket. Yeah. And then Haunter appears and is, making funny faces to Pikachu. Only Pikachu sees them. Okay, and then Haunter appears in front of Ash. And Ash has this great stroke of genius, right? He is the ultimate detective. He has this way of looking at a scene, putting the pieces together, and asking the hard-hitting questions. He goes, is this a ghost Pokemon? Probably, Ash.
Yeah,
how'd you figure that out?
I would say so.
What deductive powers.
And then he pulls Dexter out on it. Dexter has no fucking information on this thing.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you were right, Ash. It's a ghost Pokemon.
Didn't Dexter have info on Gastly in the Ghost of Maiden's Peak in our episode?
Yeah, I don't really get what this was about.
Because Dexter has nothing on Haunter or Gengar.
Yeah, he's like, you got me. Back to you, Ash.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah, Dexter's just like, yeah, this is a Haunter. Good luck.
Yeah, and now for weather.
Back to you, Bill.
Back to you, Charmander, who's next up. And Ash gets him to use Leer, which just turns into a staring contest. Like the Haunter and Charmander are making funny faces at each other. And Ash is like, why are you making funny faces? And Haunter's loving it. He thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, this thing's just a jokester all around. He's not trying to harm anyone. He's just having fun.
The Haunter, yeah, I love him. And Gengar shows up again. Gengar being the third, evolution in this chain. And Gengar and Haunter are just a comedy duo.
Yeah.
they're doing the slapstick comedy. They're like
hitting each other over the head and whatever. Except Ash doesn't get it.
Oh, and this is my favorite part of all 3 episodes.
Yeah, so good.
Ash is like, you're weird, and your routine, it's not that good. Are you guys trying to be funny? You should work on your routine. So he explicitly now makes it known that this is a comedy routine. But that was some hard... Oh man, no comedy genius like these two wants to hear that. So it bums them out so bad.
They get so depressed.
Yeah, they're hiding on they fall over kind of, and there's a spotlight on them, and it's zooming out, and there's winds howling and snow starts building up on them. Oh, I love it. Those
little moments are just so fun.
Oh yeah,
they're just thrown in there.
This
for
is
no reason.
The strength of the medium of animation, period, is stuff like this. Is this sort of Looney Tunes-esque hijinks.
You can do literally anything.
Very fun. Yeah. And it's metaphorical, but it's tied back to the what's actually happening. It lends itself to the strengths of the medium, right? In language, written language, that's what a good metaphor is all about. It sort of connects you in a sensual way. That's what we're doing, but with visuals. Very nice.
Yeah, so Ash goes and dives for the ghosts. He knocks a chandelier off the ceiling, a la Phantom of the Opera. It falls to the ground, and they appear to be dead. Now Ash is dead, and Pikachu.
A lot of deaths this episode.
Yeah. So Haunter comes up to these two, literally grabs the spirits out of their body, pulls their souls out of their body. and takes him for a trip in the sky, which, Jesus Christ, how does Haunter do that?
Yeah, it was pretty intense. He, completely pulls their spirits out of their body. And Ash, for a moment, is like, did you just kill me? And then Haunter's like, I can show you the world. They just start flying. Magic carpet style. What a view.
But first, Ash has to go and pull a joke on Brock and Misty, of course.
Yeah, pulls Misty into the air. He's like, ha, Misty. And then he drops her. Like, she could have died.
She could have died.
But Brock catches her.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Ash.
This is an important episode to remind people that, pranks are funny in cartoon, but they're not funny in real life. Pranks are not funny. They're just
Depends on the prank.
I guess. But, physical pranks,
yes,
a lot of the times are more mean and more dangerous than they need to be.
Story time. This is a tangent.
Story time with Kellan.
It's story time. The other day, I was talking to a friend who's very much into astrology, and I'm not. I think astrology is horseshit. But I was talking to her about things. I don't even remember how we got onto the subject, but I started because she calls me a typical Capricorn, because I am one.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, because that's when my birthday falls, so of course that determines my entire personality.
Typical Capricorn.
Yeah, and so I started calling her other signs that don't make any sense, because my theory is that regardless of the trait, you can make it fit to any star sign, and you just choose what you want to hear.
Oh yeah,
and that's all astrology is to me.
Typical Aries.
And so, hey, that's what her star sign is.
I think I'm an Aries, actually.
And so I started calling her all these other signs to as a joke.
Typical Pisces.
And I left out Aries on purpose, because that is her star sign. And I was just being absolutely insistent that no, there are only 11 star signs, not 12. I don't know what you're talking about. There's only 11 star signs. And she was getting so fucking pissed off at me. And not understanding that I was joking, that she took it to a Discord server with all of our friends, with the screenshots, being like, Kellan hates being wrong, and sends the screenshots, and this guy's being an idiot, there's 12 star signs. And I have to hit her back with a screenshot of me proving that I know that Aries exists, I was leaving it out because it is yours.
That's incredible. I think that's a good also reminder.
That was a good prank.
Well, pranking sucks. Trolling is incredible. Yeah. And you trolled her. Under the bridge, Billy Goat Gruff. That's some top level trolling.
Nah, it was a good night. She got fucking pissed off, and it was hilarious.
Shout us out in the comments if you like enraging an astrology fan.
All right, where were we?
I can show you the world.
Yeah, so the ghosts take Ash back to the playhouse, their playhouse. And they just wanted someone to play with.
Yeah, they're just having so much fun. And you know what? This is a really good, I'm glad we did these 3 episodes together, because not only are they a together arc, they also have this overarching theme of just wanting friends, and just wanting someone to play with, and sort of childish play, and how we use that to make friends and experience the world. And yeah, they go back to a toy room. They just wanted friends.
Yeah.
They're comedy nerds who just want to hang out and make jokes.
Yeah. But Ash has to leave, makes the ghosts cry. They're so sad. They thought they had a friend, finally. Back in the tower, Brock and Misty think Ash is dead, in a moment of, real emotion.
Yeah, they got up the nerves and went in.
Mm-hmm.
And they think he's dead. They're like, oh, fuck. That 10-year-old got roasted.
And then we get this really nice little clip of, when Ash wakes up, Misty is genuinely very relieved to find out that Ash is alive. For as much as she gets on his case, she loves the guy.
Yeah, she literally thought that he was dead. So she can tell.
So they leave the tower without a ghost Pokemon.
Yeah, so he's not dead. They give him his soul back, and they're leaving. They're like, okay, well, they were nice, but I'm not going to try to catch them. Yeah. And Haunter joins them. He was
follows
awesome.
Along.
Yeah.
It's not an official capture. Haunter's just tagging along.
Yeah, there's no Pokeball involved.
But Haunter's going to come along for the time being. And then we go back to the playroom where the other ghosts have trapped Team Rocket, tied him to the merry-go-round. And it's spinning real fast around. And we get the classic, looks like Team Rocket's throwing up again.
Hey-oh.
I like that.
Absolutely terrifying, though. The poltergeists have Team Rocket, the true heroes of the episode, who've been tortured constantly by kid and ghost alike, trapped to this carousel of doom for all eternity.
And that's the episode.
Yeah. You want to hear a literary comparison?
Let's go to the literary hour. We should get a jingle for the literary hour.
It's literary hour, yeah. No, not that. It's Casper the Friendly Ghost. I got
of course.
I got more, but like the 3 ghost paradigm. So in Casper the Friendly Ghost comics and shows, I think they're made to be like his uncles or something. But there's the ghostly trio who are sort of always pranking and want to do more devious, sort of mischievous pranks. And I got strong vibes about them. From this. And Casper's the one who wants to be more earnest friends. You know, there's Aladdin, obviously, for the show you the whole new world segment. But an actual book, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, a 1959 American Gothic classic about people living in a house, slowly feeling like their humanity is being drained away by the haunted sort of psychosis of this house. Things appearing, changing, hearing voices, all kinds of creepy stuff. So we'll go with that.
Excellent.
And let's get to the forepour. Yeah, going a bit quicker through some of the literary stuff this week. Since, we're getting more used to talking. We're definitely stretching things out.
Yeah.
Try to keep it entertaining, though.
All right, our first... Oh, this is a good category for this episode. It's humor.
Oh, 10.
It's a whole thing. 10. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right, category 2.
It's like one of the themes of the episode.
It's like the whole point. The ghosts are just jokesters.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right, category 2 will be ironic Pokedex. Have we gotten this one yet?
So what does ironic Pokedex mean?
I don't know. I think you suggested this one.
I did not suggest this one. I'm going to say your brother suggested
Maybe he did. Are we going to throw it away?
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Is it just like a surprising Pokedex moment? Because we were surprised
because we
didn't know
we'll go with
shit.
That. We'll go with that. No, it's ironic because the Pokedex is supposed to know everything about these Pokemon.
Yeah, and it didn't know anything. So
there you go.
This was actually the prototypical moment of ironic Pokedex. Right? Like, could you be more ironic? Could I be more ironic? It's a Chandler Bing impression. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. This is the quintessential ironic Pokedex moment.
Do we have our first perfect 10?
I think we do.
We have a perfect 10, folks.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Big moment. You win a free porterhouse steak. On the house.
Ooh, I want one.
Hell yeah, with a peppercorn sauce. Bro, have you ever had peppercorn sauce?
I don't know. I may have, like, in a restaurant or something.
British people are losing it right now. This is like a thing apparently in the UK where they, when they order steak, like it comes with a peppercorn sauce. I made one the other day, okay?
Ooh.
The key is it's brandy. That's what makes it taste good. You have the drippings from your meat still in a pan. You throw in brandy, mix that with the drippings, okay? And then you mix in some beef broth and some milk. And peppercorns, and you let that simmer into like a creamy sauce, and then pour that on your steak. Bro,
that sounds good.
Now we're cooking.
That does sound good.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the new podcast where Graham talks about how to make sauces. We're done with Pokemon. It's just sauce now. It's all about sauces.
Well, I gotta think. I'm sure there's like a good name, but like, show me the sauce. Nothing but sauce. Sauce.
Yeah. Here is the lamb sauce.
Yes.
All right, let's get to the last episode of today. It is Haunter versus Kadabra.
I like verses in the titles of things.
Do you?
Yeah, like cartoons from that I watched as a teenager, like Hulk versus Wolverine. You know, because if you go to Blockbuster, this is aging myself. If you go to Blockbuster and you find a DVD called The Hulk versus Wolverine, you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, well, this better have the Hulk and Wolverine fighting.
So the gang has made it back to Saffron City. Brock thinks he's allergic to ghosts. Misty calls Haunter cute. I don't get that.
Well, Misty thinks most Pokemon are cute except for bug Pokemon. She despises bug Pokemon. Well, I mean, is he Yeah, I don't know if cute's the word I would use either, actually.
He's
I
cool.
think Caterpie's cuter, and Caterpie drove her nuts. Yeah.
He licks her, though, paralyzing her, because that's something Lick can do in the games.
Yeah, and Ash is like, did you just paralyze Misty? Like, too far, man. Kick her out paralyzing my friends.
It's at this point Ash officially recruits Haunter to fight Sabrina for him. He asks Haunter if he'll do it. Haunter agrees. Outside the gym, Brock and Misty are cheering from the outside. They don't want to go into the gym. They remember what happened last time. They don't trust Ash to beat her.
Yeah, and they're like, what if the Haunter's actually controlling you and not the other way around? And Haunter's just laughing. He's like, whatever, man. Let's have fun.
So Ash is very confident that he can beat Sabrina with Haunter, and he's so confident that he can do that. He sends out all of his starters for some reason. I
didn't get this either. He's like, instead of the typical Pokemon match where we'll send out our Pokemon during the match, send out my 3 starters right now, and them, along with the Haunter, shall rush into this gym like some sort of army assaulting the banks of France. You know, it's D-Day, and the terrible Nazis are Sabrina, and we will take over this fortress.
He's back for the rematch. She sends out Kadabra, as she did. Ash goes for Haunter, but he's nowhere to be found. What happened to Haunter?
So he pulls out a megaphone, and he's like, will Haunter please
come
report to the floor? Haunter to aisle 3. We've got a comedy situation, and we need your input. Haunter to aisle 3.
Sabrina threatens to send them back to the toy box if Ash doesn't send someone out. So he goes for Pikachu. Pikachu's too scared. He goes for the starters. The starters are too scared. Notably, doesn't even try Pidgeotto.
No, he's still got Pidgeotto. Him.
Where the fuck is Pidgeotto? Speaking of, I just thought about this. So in the last episode we did last week, he released Butterfree back into the wild. Why doesn't he have Krabby just on his team now? He's got Krabby waiting. He's got an open slot. You're asking me
questions I don't have answers to.
I don't have answers either, and that's why I'm asking them.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, Ash just, has poor Pokemon knowledge and logistic. He's not a planner.
No.
He probably just left the Krabby back with Oak. Didn't pull him out of the box.
So they run. They try to make an escape for it.
Yeah, I really like this. I like this animation where... Sabrina's looking terrifying again. She looks massive, right? So the weight of her psychic powers are filling up their psyche, and the vision of her appearing above them is quite ominous. And Ash just, I quit. Let's run tail. Turns around.
Fuck this.
Right. So they'll run for it. The little girl appears. The little girl version of Sabrina appears and turns Brock and Misty into dolls, like weird little paper dolls.
Yeah, that's crazy. They get trapped inside. Brock and Misty turn into dolls, and then that weird man from 2 episodes ago comes back again, teleports Ash and the Pokemon out. This dude is just the embodiment of Deus Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, teleporting tracksuit hero daddy pops in, tells them some good advice. Sometimes you gotta retreat to win.
So the weird man seems to know Sabrina. We get a little backstory. She's had these extraordinary psychic powers since she was a little girl. She never had any friends and drove her parents away because she was so obsessed with honing her psychic abilities, to the point where she's kind of become 2 people. She's the trainer and the doll at the same time.
Right, so the little girl is like a doll manifestation of Sabrina's youth, basically, in her sort of traumatic childhood caused by her own obsession and the rift that she has between her and her parents, and then the trainer, which is like her physical self, which has grown up and is a an older teenager probably.
According to I was just looking at Bulbapedia, Sabrina's entry. The only reference to Sabrina's age is in one of the manga, The Electric Tale of Pikachu, where she is noted to be 21. So, that's the only thing we can go off of.
She looks like a young woman, is what you would just say. Yeah.
I just I like canonical ages, just to know. It's fun.
Checking the ages.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
So the man who's telling this story, has revealed to the audience in his internal monologue that he is Sabrina's father from these stories. That was pretty easy to get to figure out. Ash sitting beside him, the father's like, well, I've told him so much. Ash should definitely realize who I am now. And Ash is like, you know what? You know a little bit too much about Sabrina. and you've got her photograph. That's the same photograph we saw in the dollhouse. I got it. You must be the photographer. Great Ash Moron moment.
Classic Ash Moron moment.
Classic Ash
so
Moron
good.
Moment.
Yeah, he's the photographer. Definitely not the dad. That's what it is.
Right,
and
the
then,
photographer.
Yeah, Ash has to go find Haunter. He's into the city.
Yeah, and where the heck is Haunter? We get a cutaway to Team
Where
Rocket.
in the world is Haunter San Diego?
Haunter San Diego. Nice. That's a Carmen San Diego reference. Folks, bet you didn't think you'd hear that when tuning in today.
Especially from me.
I bet you there's people who do not know what Carmen San Diego is.
Yeah, probably.
It was like a show, and then there were like computer games about it, about this like mysterious woman who like went around the world or something. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I really only know the name and the basic concept.
Your brothers had a computer game of it.
So we see Team Rocket for the first time this episode. They're finally here. They're dressed as construction workers.
Yeah, and they're in the Smash Brothers level.
Yeah, there you go. And so they're talking about what their plan is. They got a deadly weapon this time to catch Pikachu. They've honed their skills. They're going to use a net.
The ultimate weapon, a net.
A fishing net.
A fishing net.
And then they go into this whole thing about what comes first, the chicken or the egg. I don't even remember how we got to that point.
I don't really get it either. They were like, nets are the best. And we all know, and all true geniuses know that the egg came first.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think they're right in the sense that through evolution, the thing that gave birth to the first chicken egg wouldn't have been a chicken. So
yes. The egg came first. It was just laid by something that wasn't a chicken. Or that we would know as a chicken.
It was chicken-like.
So before they can do anything, Haunter comes back, scares them silly. They're holding onto the thing that they're standing on, the thingy.
And Team Rocket, man, they go through the worst stuff. So they're hanging from this skyscraper now off the side of the building. Like, they could all die, plummet to their death. Haunter is spooking them, and he's just like, and he goes up to Jesse, who's like hanging from the highest point, and just starts making the funniest faces, like pulling his like eyes out through his mouth and scrunching all his face and stuff. And Jesse's face in response, she's trying not to laugh because the idea is that if she laughs, they all plummet to their death.
Yeah, it's
so she's scrunching up her face, and it's going back between Haunter doing these silly faces and her just scrunching, just like tightening up the old butthole, right? Like, I cannot laugh at all.
Yeah, it's very similar to the moment in Bye Bye Butterfree with Pikachu's murder face and going back and forth between him and Team Rocket.
Yeah, the jump cuts for comedic.
It's gonna shock
effect.
us. Yeah. It's very similar to that, and it's very funny as well. So he gets Jesse to laugh. They fall to their death.
They're dead.
They break through the pavement. They create a hole in the pavement, which is very impressive.
Yeah. Y'all packing some cake there. That thickness. cracking sidewalk.
So Haunter's being flaky now on his promise to help Ash beat Sabrina. We go back to the dollhouse. We know that Brock and Misty now are able to communicate with each other telepathically. And another doll starts talking. It's Sabrina's mother. She turned her own mother into a doll.
Right, so we've been introduced to both of her parents. The dad is, the teleporting tracksuit freak of destiny. And the mom has been entrapped as a doll, likely for a long time. We don't really know.
Yeah, Ash is back for that rematch now. It's Kadabra versus Haunter. Except, where's Haunter?
Yeah, so he did find Haunter after that and said, don't just help me for my sake, but we got to get Brock and Misty back, so please help me this time. And Haunter seems to have gone along with it, but now that they're back in the match, he's gone again. What the hell, Haunter, man?
What is wrong with you?
So Ash is just crying. He's like, oh my god, this sucks. Why the hell won't Haunter show up when we need him? So Pikachu's like, fine, like, I'm going to do it again. Jumps in. What a
face
Chad.
My fears.
What a Pikachu.
So Kadabra, it goes about it just as well as last time, though. Kadabra's abilities are just too much for Pikachu to overcome until he is able to get a Thunderbolt.
Yeah, it was some cool moves, like a Psybeam, a Thunderbolt. Yeah, and he pulls one off on Kadabra, but Kadabra has this move, Recover.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Is it?
I mean, technically no, because it is a move in the game, but it's still kind of bullshit.
It's kind of bullshit.
Haunter comes back, though. Haunter has entered the gym, but he's not battling, so it's not technically against the league rules. He does his slapstick routine for Sabrina, gets her to crack a smile. she starts to laugh.
How he makes her laugh is pretty good. He pulls a bomb out of his mouth and it explodes, and then they all start laughing. Like, good one! A bomb!
Domestic terrorism! Yay!
Yay!
The man notes that he's never seen her laugh before, or he hasn't seen her laugh in a long, long time or something.
So Haunter has healed the world with comedy.
Ash thinks Ash has got it figured out now from this moment. The dad, he has never seen Sabrina laugh like this. Ash knows. He also took her baby photos.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's not the dad. He's the baby photographer. What a genius, Ash.
So yeah, Haunter has helped Sabrina discover the human part of her heart.
Laughter
very
has
wholesome.
saved the day. He has healed the world with comedy.
It is the best.
Much like Bo Burnham strives to at the beginning of his hit Netflix comedy Inside. He has healed the world with comedy. One of the top things ever made.
Fantastic.
Performative art pieces.
So good. Sabrina's psychic link to Kadabra has made Kadabra start laughing and falling over and unable to battle. And now that Sabrina has found her human heart, the little doll girl disappears, very symbolic, and she's letting go of that part of herself. And Sabrina's dad gives Ash the March badge, and yet another bullshit victory that doesn't teach Ash anything.
Yeah, so did Ash deserve the badge? Well, let's go through this. Like, he did a lot. He didn't do a fight, and he didn't teach him anything about the mechanics. Did it teach him something about people in Pokemon, though? Maybe.
I don't even know.
Maybe, I mean, facing the fears to go into the tower, becoming friends with the ghosts, not really controlling them, right? Haunter was really just, like, being Haunter.
Yeah.
He's like, I brought this stand-up comedian around with me.
It's not like he commanded Haunter to make Sabrina laugh.
Haunter, tell a knock-knock joke. Now, Haunter, finish him with a callback.
Ash didn't do a damn thing.
No, he didn't. And it was all coincidence and circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the best way to win.
Either way, he gets the Marsh badge. They're off to Celadon City. And then we see Team Rocket getting buried in cement. Yeah,
this is the thing I was saying. That's like the brutality of Team Rocket. So they've burst through the sidewalk. And now, that I gotta give her props. The Saffron City, municipal roadway engineers, whatever, they work so quickly. They're there right away pouring cement, fixing this giant hole. Team Rocket is being covered alive in cement. Brutal way to die.
Yeah, that would not be fun.
No, horrifying.
It would be absolutely
one of the
terrifying.
Worst things. Yeah.
But that's the episode.
Yeah, that's the episode. So, Literary Hour with Graham. Short story this time. I believe it's from the 50s, called The Veldt by Ray Bradbury. I do remember reading this in school. I think it had an alternate name called The World the Children Make. Okay. And it's about a family. It's supposed to be in some future where they have this technology. It's like an automated nursery. And in the automated nursery, the kids can interact with it and make like different worlds to experience and that sort of thing. So they go into this automated nursery and they will like kind of travel to like other parts of the world to like learn things, but they interact with this nursery so much more than their actual parents that they become obsessed with it. And so the parents, when they decide to take it away, and the kids actually use the nursery then to trap their parents in them, possibly killing them. That part is like insinuated. Jesus. And the veldt refers to this like African savanna. That's where they conjure up creating lions that then they use to do away with their parents. So it's got this same themes of the children being obsessed with someone that then is the horrific downcome of their parents. So I think that's a pretty good analogy, actually, for what happens in this episode. Sabrina becoming so obsessed with her own powers in pursuit of the telekinesis, that magic do whatever nonsense, and trapping her mom in the dollhouse. How you like that one?
Very dark.
Very appropriate.
All right, let's rate it. Last episode of the day.
Last episode, hitting up the 4 pour.
Category number 1 will be the plot.
A good plot. It's hard
Solid plot.
It's hard to separate it from all 3 episodes as a whole. Like in this one, this is just the climax of that, so it really is the act 3. Like the whole 3 acts together are a great plot. The ending of this, I did think was a little stupid.
So dumb.
Because it's just like, she gets cracked up, and that's the resolution. So I feel like we got to take away some points for that. Yeah, 6. If it was all together, I'd be 8 or 9.
Yeah, agreed. And second category will be the power of friendship.
Aww. Okay. Well, Ash, striving to get back Misty and Brock, I think was a good power of friendship moment. Haunter really breaking through and having some human moment with Sabrina is a good power of friendship, even though it's a little stupid. It is good. And then sort of the family and their hope for Sabrina. Any other power of friendship moments?
Not that I can instinctively think of at this time.
Pikachu having Ash's back, jumping in on Haunter, sort of abandoned him is good. Team
8.
Rocket dying together in their grave. R.I.P. Yeah, I'm good with an 8.
Yeah, so 7 out of 10.
Ooh, good episodes.
Pretty decent episodes this week.
6.5, a perfect 10, and a 7.
Incredible.
Wow.
A perfect 10.
I'll always remember those 3 ghost comedy idiots. I love them. All right, so that's this week's episode. Hope you're enjoying To Kill a Delibird. Shout us out in the comments. Love more ideas, more engagement. Love seeing the engagement we've got. Use the YouTube comments, or you can email us at tokilladelibird@gmail.com. You can find us in most places where fine podcasts are downloaded: Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Amazon, etc. And on the YouTube channel Skittlewickers, which Kellan runs. Our intro and outro music is 80s Synthwave by Alexi Action. Anything else, Kellan?
Well, you want to know what we're doing next week?
I do.
Absolutely. So next week, we're back to 2 episodes. We're going to be doing 2 at a time for a while now here. We are doing episode 25, Primeape Goes Bananas, and episode 26, Pokemon Sensation. So we're going to be meeting another gym leader next week.
Love me a good gym leader.
Fantastic. That's what we got for next week.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm very excited for that. I'm having a blast doing these. I hope that listeners, I hope you're having a good time too. Kellan, are you having a good time?
I'm having a lovely time.
He's lovely, folks. We're all lovely. All right.
Everyone is lovely.
Including our listeners.